Hey everybody, it's Mr. Lundquist here. Great to be back. This is my first podcast back from being gone on paternity leave. So thank you for joining me and being a take to watch this. Sometimes I like to, again, I want to do some of the live stuff. This one I wanted to record, just give a little better, just get some thoughts down. Now that I've been out, I was out for about 7 weeks with my paternity leave. My wife and I had a little baby girl, Annika, who was born on October 10th. And so being able to spend that time with her was really just something special for us. So appreciate the patience. As you can see, I've got my good fall beard going here. It's been a long fall, but it's been a pleasure to spend some time with some family. So as I came back and kind of jumped into some things and was able to talk to some students and talk to staff, there's a couple different things that I want to touch base on, just as reminders as we kind of get into this winter and we get into December. We currently do have our staff, as the school board had mentioned and put into place last week, that staff could teach from home or they can teach from school. And so not much of our staff is still teaching from the building. It's been great to see. I know that it's probably much easier from here. But our staff, it does have that flexibility. So know that is happening and that our staff is really working tremendously hard to do that the right way. But you will see some staff are working from home a little bit more. Some are here in the building, and that is something the board approved of last week. We appreciate that in the name of caution and safety during this difficult time. A couple other things that as I came back and was looking at some of the data, our first quarter grades, this is a difficult time. This is really hard. This is hard work. Teachers are trying to find ways to get students across the finish line. We made some adjustments with what I would call formative or homework grades, that nothing can go below a 50. And so just kind of what that looks like and how that has an impact on grades. We're hoping to up those grades. Students, we do have a number of students who are struggling right now, and we've got a lot of different programs in place to support those students. But we also need students logging in. We need students engaging. This is not last semester where everything was just kind of the pass fail. This is intense. We're really trying to hone in. So please, students, if you are struggling, you need to reach out to your teachers, you need to reach out to your counselors and try to find a way to get across that finish line as we get those credits. Because what we don't want is students to then be credit deficient as they come out of this this first semester. So just students, please be aware of that. Also, attendance. It sounds like some students are starting to turn cameras off. Students are starting to maybe not necessarily engage in the way. Just before I had left, I had mentioned to students that you could be marked absent. If you have your camera off and you aren't able to answer a question or engage in a lesson, or when you're called on, have any response, the teacher has the right to mark you absent because you are not showing that you are there. So please know that if you are marked absent, that's because you are not engaging in the lesson, engaging learning. We can't see you. So that's why that camera is important that it's on. And so we can see that you're there, you're good. We may know that you're just listening in the classroom. We don't call in every single person, but we expect you to be there. And so to be in front of that camera, you're showing us that you're there. And if your camera is off for whatever reason and you've made a plan with the teacher and you're not engaging, we're going to mark you absent. If your camera is off, I always would ask that you make sure that the teachers you've communicated with them as to why, and try to find a way to make sure we can get that cameras on. But we know that there are reasons why sometimes they aren't. But communication is really important. In the next month, oddly enough, we get to think about next year. And we hope that we will, we'll be back in session and doing our thing and back in our classes how we normally would be. And to have that energy back in the building is something we are craving. I'm craving. I know our staff is here. I need to be able to go down to band and hear that place just rocking again, right? It is something I miss dearly. And so, but we get to plan about that. We get to plan and think about that. So in early January, you're going to be getting some information from your stat teachers regarding scheduling for next year. Then you're going to get some more information from counselors, and then we're diving in. Then we're going to start to dig into scheduling. The process will look a little bit different only because of how we gather that information. It's still going to be an Infinite Campus, but that worksheet that you see that you normally get that you can kind of work through, you're going to take your course handbook, which is going to look it's going to look different. It's going to have the same information, but we've kind of updated it and got it to be in the 2020 handbook. So you'll be getting, it'll look a little bit different, but it'll have the same information. You'll be taking that, you'll be taking a form, you'll be filling it out, and then digitally returning it so we can kind of make sure that Infinite Campus matches what that is. So we'll be sending more about that, but start to think about next year, and what you're going to need to be taking, what you're looking to take. Think of those courses that maybe you decided to step out of that you didn't like. If you maybe stepped out of band a little bit and you were, because it was virtual and it was a struggle, jump back in that next year. We want to see those numbers back up. We want to make sure that we are back engaged and got this place rocking next year back to the way that we normally would. So know that that is coming up in the coming months, the next 6 weeks, and then we're getting into second semester. And I'll be releasing some information about what the final schedule week will look like, as well as kind of what that's going to look like going into second semester. So please know that those things are coming up. I want you to start thinking about scheduling and what your plan might be, and having conversations with parents, parents having conversations with students, and what is going on there. Before I go, because I'm keeping this short, we've had coming back. It's been a week, where we've really mental health has been at the forefront due to a couple things. And I want to just remind people, and I've actually included a message in here put together regarding mental health, and really emphasizing some of the supports that we do have here in the building. And we really need families and students to look at these, take a look. If you ever need help and support, we have things in place. There are things that we can do to help. We want to be there to help and support and take care of one another. We have amazing staff and amazing kids who are so wonderful at taking care of each other. And we want to be able to, we have these resources. So please reach out. If you ever need something, we want to be here. And included in this message is a kind of some more information regarding those resources. This time is very difficult. This is like no other time in this nation's history, even globally. The pandemic thing is just not, it's incredible that we are living in this moment. And we need to get through it. We need to get through it together and support one another. And we care about you. We want to be there for you. And we have all these wonderful supports. And so we have some that it's attached with this that outlines those supports to remind you that we have these. And you can always reach out to myself or anybody else in this building if you just wonder, like, I'm struggling with this, or I'm kind of feeling this way, or hey, my child just has talked about this. What can I do? Can we get a referral? Can we look into Oregon Mental Health? Some of the resources that we have here, we want to be able to offer those up. So we care about you. We love you. We want you to be healthy and safe. We want to see you back here next year in a good space. And so please use those resources and reach out when you do need help. Thank you for spending some time with me today. It's so good to be back in the building and working. And I do miss spending some time with my daughter. But it has been a real joy to come back and kind of dive back into the work and hear from students. There was some stuff that I had done and I released, and I was going to jump on with my principal advisory panel, and I have a number of students go, hey, what's happening with that? I will tell you, having a newborn at home and some of those things, that paternity leave I wanted to get to, and I kind of put the bar a little too high for myself. And so I'll be reaching out, and I'm looking at those actually currently on my other screen right now, to have some conversations with some students. We'll be jumping into that after the new year. So I'll be talking to students beforehand, but after the new year, we're going to start in on that. And I apologize for the timing. But that's what happens when you bite off more than you can chew, and I can admit that mistake and admit that and know that I had to make some tweaks and adjustments, and I appreciate your patience on that. So hope you're being safe. Hope you're spending some time with family again. Doing all the things you can to try to get this thing under control and help us out so we can get back in person here as quickly as possible. And thank you so much for your support. And again, please reach out if you need anything. We miss you dearly, and I look forward to seeing every one of your faces as soon as we possibly can. Thanks. Bye-bye.